We have a 24-hour travel day. The itinerary is Malaga to Amsterdam with an overnight layover, about 10 hours, and then from Amsterdam to Atlanta. I have done this trip about 2 years ago, but this time I'm thinking it'll be more fun because Zach is here with me.
Viajas a Madrid. Conexión Madrid.
Made it through security. Should I get strawberry? I feel like chocolate's the best bet. For me, the moment that is getting me through is thinking of when I am at home, specifically like entirely showered with my hair washed and laying in my own bed with clean sheets. No matter the length of travel, if I'm in an airport, I just feel so gross, and doing that for 24 hours feels extra gross. So I brought my like face wash and toothbrush and toothpaste to just kind of try to help out. It helps, but it only goes so far. And then I brought a change of clothes for, I think after this layover. I think I'm going to try to put on the change of clothes before our long flight to just kind of feel extra fresh. But we are officially in Amsterdam. The flight from Malaga was pretty seamless. Landing was a little rough. I read a lot and I fell a little bit asleep. My goals for this layover are to sleep. If it feels right, I'm trying not to put a lot of pressure on myself, but if I am able to and it feels good, I would like to sleep. So next, Zach and I will go find somewhere to be horizontal. If you remember from the last time that I stayed overnight in this airport, the mice come out to play. I don't know at what hour, but we are going to be keeping our eyes out, and I'll let you know when I see my first mouse. This is the little setup that we're going to try and see if any sleep can be had. It's 2:28 and I have not slept at all. I think it's just like such a novel experience. Like obviously I'm not in a bed, I'm not in a hotel, I'm not in my own bed yet. And so I just feel awake. It's probably adrenaline and I imagine it'll crash at some point. So I would love to be asleep right now. Zach is sleeping great. I'm just like cold and uncomfortable and awake, but I think that like I'm not saying that to complain. I'm staying overnight in an airport. Things are not gonna be lovely. But I am saying that as in we still have about 17 hours to go, and that's how I'm doing right now. We've made it to the moment I've been working towards. We're home and I'm showered and my hair is washed and I feel clean and I feel fresh, and it is 5:06, which is shocking because I last went to bed on Saturday and today is Monday at 5:06. But honestly, 5 doesn't feel all that late. Like we got home just after 4:15, just about. And I am doing so surprisingly well for, I can't even say like the little sleep that I got. So whenever we were laying out on that little bench thing in the Amsterdam airport, I fell asleep for, there was an hour between when I looked at my phone clock. So I probably slept for like a little bit under that because I remember just like laying there being awake, feeling like I wasn't going to sleep yet. So maybe like 45 minutes there, 50 if we're being generous. And then I didn't sleep the whole rest of the time. And then on the plane itself, I played Monopoly on the little seatback experience for hours and it was great. I listened to a whole audiobook. I don't necessarily recommend it. It was The Net Beneath Us and it was like a literary family, working through grief, living in the country, off the grid, learning relationships with people around you. Like I listened to the whole thing today, so it's not like it was awful, but it just like didn't really stand out to me necessarily, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. But I listened to that, played hours and hours of Monopoly. I feel like I got a good finish with that though, because by the end of the plane, I beat the three computers. It was 4-person Monopoly. I was the only real person. I beat the computer 2 times in a row. I really felt like the odds were stacked against me in that Monopoly game, but it was fun. But there was one time, probably like halfway through the plane ride, I think it was about 4.5 hours in, so pretty much exactly halfway through, where I was like doing Monopoly and I was like, could not keep my eyes open. I was like, oh no, I can't buy my properties. Like I can't even my blinks are just taking so long. And so I like leaned over on Zach to take a nap, and I felt like I reached the innermost part of the world, like that deep. Like I dug that deep into my sleep and came back up, and I like woke up the kind where you're just like, I'm back. It had been 10 minutes. So less than an hour of sleep, all of that to say. And I'm really surprised with myself at how well I'm doing. I did have a flat white around 6 this morning Amsterdam time, which would be 1 a.m. this time. So that's long gone. That's long out of my system. I think it's just adrenaline now that is coursing through me. The good thing is that low stress tonight. Like there's nothing, I go back to work tomorrow, but we left the apartment in like good shape. Like things were vacuumed, the bed is made. I'll show you our new bed. We have a new bed. Zach is in it right now, chilling. I think if I went horizontal, I would not be getting back up. As soon as I hit horizontal tonight, it is game over for me. So the things that I do want to do, eat. I think I'm hungry. Zach said on the way back, he said he's not trusting any of his bodily cues right now, and I feel like that's a good way to put it. Like, I don't know what I am, but I imagine I have to be hungry, and getting back like on the time zone. I think sleep-wise, we shouldn't be like really jet lagged after tonight, because I'm gonna sleep so hard tonight and like wake up at a normal hour tomorrow. Like if I go to bed at 7:30 tonight, I'm going to be waking up at a normal hour tomorrow. I'm not going to be sleeping 16 hours. And then by then I'll just kind of be jump started back into this time. But hunger does get weird. So I think if I eat around dinner time, then hopefully I can kind of start getting that back to how it's supposed to be. We do have a grocery order, a Kroger delivery order that should be arriving between 7 and 8 tonight. That were just like a few basics that'll be helpful. A lot of like breakfasts, yogurt type things, but it was much more expensive to have it delivered before 7, so that's not going to be my snack tonight. That'll be getting set up for the week. But tomorrow we go back to work, and it's a 4-day work week because today's Monday, and it's a busy one of things that like I already know are just scheduled into the week, which then is kind of crazy because coming off of 6 days not working, we'll talk about like what I do to adjust back and everything as those days go, but obviously just like catching up on like what happened whenever I was gone. And then lots of times there's lots of new people that come in, and usually that's just like a few at a time, a few overnight at a time. But whenever I'm gone for so long, sometimes I come back and it's like I have entirely new caseload. I would be very surprised if I show up tomorrow and have an entirely new caseload. Like there are some people that I'd be very surprised if they're not there. But I don't know what's happened in all the days that I've been gone. We'll worry about that tomorrow though. That's a tomorrow thing. So the groceries and laundry are really the things for tonight. Getting laundry started. I don't think it's at all realistic that all the laundry will get done, but at least getting some started, and then groceries, feed myself, try to make it as late as I can before going to bed to try to help get back on a normal routine. I feel amazing. I crashed at 7 p.m. on the dot so hard. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt my brain just like involuntarily power off like that before. Granted, I don't usually go 48 hours without sleep, but I crashed so hard. I slept through the night so well, and then I woke up it was 4:55 this morning, which is funny because that's when we usually wake up whenever we're going to work out in the mornings. Obviously, we were not expecting ourselves to go to the gym today. Did not go to the gym. We're not expecting ourselves to go to the gym, but both Zach and I woke up at 4:55 and we were like, huh, like that worked out really well. So I got like 9 hours of sleep. I feel refreshed. Let me show you our new bed. Haphazardly made, but it has been so cozy. The room is not finished. I really just like put the bed in here and then we went to Spain. So the room is not finished, but already I like it so much better than when we were in the other bedroom. And I've hung, see, like this is a mess. This isn't planning on staying there, but like I've hung new blackout curtains, and I made it be to where the area that goes to the desk and the mirror are both like symmetrical on the wall. So I really like that. It worked out really well. And the blackout curtains are such that yesterday Zach was sitting at the computer like gaming as I went to sleep. Could just pull the curtain shut and he could have the light on and it wasn't getting into the room. And I was sleeping so hard that it didn't even matter if he talked. I'm not even positive he was quiet because he just knew like I was gonna be sleeping so hard. It was before the groceries got here, so Zach got the grocery delivery whenever it arrived. I was just like sitting there and I was like, I cannot be vertical anymore. And I was like, my brain stopped forming thoughts. Like I needed to sleep so bad. So I'm glad I did, and I do feel really refreshed now. That being said, the next order of business is in fact returning to work, which I'm not dreading in a way that I think sometimes you can, like after a trip. Like I feel fine. I feel like ready to get back there and just like see what's going on. I'm kind of gearing myself up for the fact like days coming back from vacation are just always going to be busy, just because why would downtime exist whenever you're getting so caught back up in things? And typically like I have coworkers who will fully cover me in entirety whenever I'm gone, but also it's like they're doing the things that need to get done while I'm gone. So then there's obviously things that are like good to get done but aren't critical enough for another person to do like while I'm gone. And then whenever I get back, there's just like so many of those things piling up. So sometimes the busyness is like just going to check and say hi to people and like see if anything has come up that wasn't critical enough to need the person covering me to handle, but like I could do now. Things like that. My game plan whenever I arrive is going to be to start in Epic and my patient list. Not yet look at who's on the unit, just look at my patient list, because then I'll kind of get an idea of who's still there, who's gone home, see if there's any like crazy surprises there. Then go to my inbox, which is terrifying. I don't have predictions. My guess is gonna be like in the 150 range of emails. That might be high, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm gonna put my money on. I'm gonna go through my emails from oldest to newest, as I always do, and then sometimes as I go through my emails, depending on what the emails is, I may start going into charts of my patients just to get like updated as time goes on, as I'm catching up. And then after I get through my emails, then that's when I'll go to the unit list and add like new patients who I don't know yet to my list, my patient list. And then I'm gonna review every single chart and make myself like a little to-do list of what needs to get done in the day. That always takes a long time, but I don't hate the process. Like I kind of enjoy going through emails and seeing what's happened. Obviously we're still coming off of like the burnout season, social working with boundaries. Like I just got back. The Spain trip was not because of that, but it did like fit perfectly in that, where I do feel just like so refreshed. Like it was a retreat, truly. So I want to be mindful about like not feeling stifled in the same way that I did at the beginning of 2026. And I do know that that like takes effort. And also coming back from a trip like this, whenever it's just going to be busy because I need to catch up on everything, and then whatever new is waiting me, need to like handle that. It feels more like the special period, not the norm, if that makes sense. So like it is unrealistic this week that I'll be taking lunches every single day, but like that's because it'll make me feel better if I have things to do to be making progress on those things, because it's not just like that's the norm, that's my regular routine. It's like this is the special period of coming back from 6 days of PTO, a week and a half total including weekends that I haven't been there. Like this is just going to be a busy week, and that's okay. It'll mostly be like next week whenever the dust starts to settle again, that I'll need to be super extra intentional about just like making sure my habits are good and my habits align with like burnout prevention and all of that. But this week, like I'm obviously still going to be good to myself and kind to myself, but it's just like it's a different flow of things, and I'm fine with that. I'm excited for that. It also is Social Work Appreciation Month, so one thing that they're doing is they got us massages this month, and I signed up to have mine today, which I felt like was perfect, like coming off of the travel day and everything. Like that's why I scheduled mine today. So heading into today, this week has like scheduled things in every single day. Heading into today, my only scheduled things are at noon I have my massage, and then at 1 I have a care conference, like a family care meeting that we set up 2 weeks ago. That's just like routine. So assuming I get in and nothing has changed with that, I will have that today. All that being said, I'm like ready to go tackle it. I'm ready to do it all, and I'm excited. I'm bringing in Alani because I'm sure that the early to mid-afternoon slump is gonna hit so hard, especially having gone to bed at 7 last night. I think it may take a little bit of powering through. We'll see though, we'll see. My neighbor kid must have seen me out his window like in the parking lot as I was getting home, because he popped out his head from his door as I was walking by to say hi, and it kind of melted my heart a little bit. Things have not been as trenchy as I thought they might be. So today's Wednesday, full disclosure, jumped time a little bit, but yesterday when I got in, I had 134 emails that became 136 before I started going through them. So thankfully I was off by the 150, but not by a lot. It was fine though. There were a lot of like meetings that were not on my radar when I left, that had been added to my radar in the time that I was gone. I just desperately decided that I needed chapstick. And this is actually like a very meeting heavy week, but that's being paired with honestly like a low census for me. And so there's not as much patient care that I'm coming back to that's like ultimate necessity have to run around and do. And I was really preparing myself for that. So it's like nice, but it's also kind of a weird feeling because I was going in being like, okay, like it's grind time, it's time to get going. And then I was sitting around yesterday and it was like some of my meetings were getting altered times. So I started the day being like, I'm so busy. And then I was just like spending the day kind of sitting and being like, well, I have a meeting in an hour. So like there's not much, like what do I do for that hour? But then like the meeting time would come and then it got pushed a few hours. And I was like, oh, so I could have been doing things this whole time. Like it was just this weird mental game, but it was fine. And then same with today. Like today I feel all caught up already and there wasn't as many new people that came in that I didn't know. I was rewatching the video from whenever I went back to work after my honeymoon. I was in the trenches that week and I'm fine this week, which is amazing and wonderful. I will say something weird that I've been feeling is like my body has been achy and it genuinely like I keep having the urge to walk. Like I want to walk. And in Spain we had an average of 20,000. I think the average actually was 21,000 steps a day. And the maximum one day was 30,000 that I hit. And I think the minimum was like one day we got 15,000 and we were like, wow, we lazy butts. Like have we just not been going anywhere? Like, slow day. It's just like the lifestyle of living in a walkable city and everything really is good for lots of great steps in a day. But now that I'm out of that and don't just have like 25,000 steps built into my day, I feel like my body's missing it and like adjusting. So I have a committee meeting, an after hours committee that is tonight in like about an hour, to where I think I'm gonna go walk on the treadmill, and it's like about an hour right now from when I need to leave. So I'll probably walk like 45 minutes or so. Go walk on the treadmill just to get some of that energy out, and then I think just go straight to that committee after that. Bring my book. We're planning on returning to the gym tomorrow. It'll be our back to gym debut, and I'm really just feeling like motivated to, for them to say like level up my fitness. Like my body is just feeling like it wants to be pushed and like I want to like get better and get stronger, and so I want to make use of that while I'm feeling that. So we're gonna do a leg day tomorrow, and then I've started looking back at some of the fitness classes that are offered at my work because I've gone to a few of them a year and a half ago or so, and I mean I love a fitness class. I love the environment of a fitness class. I feel like it's just the hump of like going somewhere at a scheduled time, especially if it's like something new. Like there's just some mental resistance to that, but I think I'm gonna plan on starting to do some of those in the afternoons, even starting tomorrow, just to like give myself some variety in how I'm moving my body, because we've been in a good routine of like lifting and walking pre-Spain, good routine of lifting and walking, but there are certain like dance cardio classes or like there's a bar class that they have that I think could be just like a good variation of a way to move my body that I'm gonna try to do as we're moving things up. I don't think I talked about this, I don't really remember, but I also used a perk that they have at my work that's like an employee wellness type perk where you can meet with, I think just like a wellness coach is what they're called, and they'll do inbody scans, which is the kind where you like stand on it, you like put your thumbs on the sensor and it like weighs you and like figures out like what number of muscle mass you have, what number of body fat you have. And I got my first one done at work in January, and the last time I had done one actually was the January previously. And so in between those two times, January to January, I had lost, because I was like during my weight loss journey, I had lost 20 pounds, and of those 20 pounds 19 were fat and only one was muscle. And the one being muscle like makes sense because as you lose weight, like the muscle that is required of your body to like carry your body around, like as you get when your body has enough muscle to move you about, and like if you get lighter then it doesn't need as much, you know what I mean? So of losing 20 pounds, the fact that only one of it was muscle mass and 19 was body fat, I felt so proud of. And that's why you like eat high protein and like lift weights if you're in a calorie deficit, because being able to maintain muscle mass is awesome. But I also like, I would like, I think, to like build muscle, which is a whole different journey, but we'll see. Anyway, so my first one was January, and then I had a check-in in February where we just like talked about certain goals and like what I was gonna be doing. And then we had another scan today in March, so 2 months later from the one that I did at work, which is kind of funny coming off of Spain week because I feel like it's not the perfect representation. Like I just spent 7 days walking more than I ever have and not lifting. So the one today, like it was pretty much maintenance. Like the changes were pretty negligible from January, which was kind of the goal. Like if anything, I was like, maybe I can gain a little muscle, but I ended up like losing a bit of fat, losing a bit of muscle, but in the same way where it's like composition was the same. All that to say, I think it would be incredible to build up some muscle. And I like that we have that as a perk at my job, because that means like at any time now, if it's like 6 months from now and I want to just like check again. In-body scans aren't the most accurate. The most accurate are DEXA, but they're pretty good for like getting a trajectory. Like even if the number isn't as accurate as a DEXA would be, like getting them repetitively, you can see trends, and the trends are pretty accurate. So that was something exciting in today. That was entirely non-related to patient care or anything. But I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling better than I honestly thought that I would. I thought that this week was just going to be more survival mode, and then next week was going to be getting back into healthy habits, and it's ending up where I'm kind of doing healthy routines, back to life and everything this week, and I'm not like struggling, which I'm very glad for. I feel like this is a reminder of how fast everything can change in life and like how unexpectedly, but I did not make it to my committee meeting yesterday. I went to the gym and I walked like I told you I was going to do, and I left like a little bit later than I was planning to, and I was kind of feeling rushed. Like I looked at the clock, I think it was like at like 5:40, and I was like, oh, I should like wrap things up and get going. And then the next time I looked at the clock, it was 5:50, and I was like, oh shoot, like I really need to leave. But I just like kind of lost my brain there for a second about when I was leaving. So I was leaving later than I had planned to. I feel like everything happens for a reason. As I'm walking out in our parking lot, I heard like huge screech, bang, 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 to where I was like, oh, that was a car accident. And there's several busy roads that are like right near us. So in my head at first, I was like, oh, someone nearby that I can hear got in a car accident. Like I wasn't thinking it was like something that close. I was just like, oh, that was close enough for me to hear. And then, and my brain's like working slow, so this all like feels in slow motion. And then I see the car, and it's like 20 feet in front of me. Like it kind of comes around like a wall into my visibility, 20 feet in front of me, totally mangled. Which again, I feel like, I mean, I've been in a car accident before, and I kind of feel like I felt this at that time, where it truly is like that moment where like everything starts moving slow and your brain kind of is like on overdrive while also like not working at the same time. So what I saw in that moment, and if you knew the spoiler, everyone was okay. Like there was no grave injuries. Car was not fine, but every person was okay. So I like see the mangled car coming, and in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, car accident. And then I see another car that like turns into where I am, and they like kind of start looping around. So I was thinking like, oh, they're pulling in because like their car just got hit or something like that. And then in my head I was like, oh shoot, like someone should be calling 911. So I called 911, and as I'm doing so, I'm like walking over to the car that's like the biggest mess, and it was a sweet elderly man who was inside. Airbags had gone off, like the front of the car totally totaled. Thankfully, literally like by the grace of God, like a miracle, he was just fine. Like obviously shaken from airbags, and back like when I was in my car accident that ended up being fine, like it was just the airbags, and like you feel bruised afterwards, like you're in shock after it happens. But thankfully, like I could tell immediately, like he was awake, he was alert, he was responding to me, there was no blood, anything. So like that all was wonderful. So I was like telling the dispatcher that, and we're gonna send out units to like come help. And then while like I'm on the phone and also checking on the guy, some other people are pulling over. There's a guy that also got clipped that he was totally fine, but he was like running out and he was helping with the man too. I just like literally, I'm like kind of shaking thinking about it now, because it was just like such a case of like right place, right time, but also like never did I ever think that like honestly ever in my life like I would randomly be first on the scene of an accident. What had happened, turns out, is that a car who was in one of the left lanes decided to turn right, and so like turned right in front of the other lane that they were in the left of, to which then they're turning, so the car that's coming straight through the green light like hits them, and it was the car that turned right. He did a loop and he left, like he hit and ran. But his car, even when I saw it, like I didn't pay that much attention to the car other than just like a minor description, because in my head of course I was assuming like, oh, he's just pulling over because they just got in a car accident. I wasn't thinking and he's gonna leave. So he left, but his car was not like in good shape either. And by the time the police came to be with us, they had said that that guy had already like been found and pulled over and then tried to take off on foot and then got caught. Which they said like it wasn't a stolen car or anything, because I feel like that's kind of always what you think, like if someone hits and runs that it's like a stolen car, they don't want to get caught. I feel like for that car it was just the fact like they did something crazy dangerous and illegal and then people got hurt, and so in that moment they were just like leaving. Anyways, I sat and stayed with my new friend the man who was in the car. And then the other guy who got clipped sat and stayed with us for a while too. The police didn't need a statement from me because I didn't actually see anything happen. Like I heard it, but I didn't see what had occurred. And the other guy whose car also got clipped, he was like fully there. He saw everything. So they got a statement from him, got him a case number. Firefighters came and checked out my friend. And like I said, like literally by the grace of God, he is fine. Like his car was so messed up, and for him to like just walk out of it, and like especially at being 79, like when you're 79, things that other people get bounced back from are gonna be harder. And I'm so sure he's like stiff today, but I felt like oddly grateful just to be there in that time, because like I said, never did I ever think that I would be in a situation like that, but I was glad that like I was able to make the call and then like sit and stay with him while help came, and even afterwards. So like police and firefighters were really confused, and this kind of confused me back, because whenever I got there they were like, were you in the car? And I was like, no, like I was just like walking by. And they were like, oh well, like we don't need anything else, like if you want to keep walking. And I was like, no, that's fine, like I'm gonna sit and stay with him. Like it was an elderly man by himself at that point who had just gotten in an accident, and like obviously the EMS and the police are like who he needs in that moment to like take care of him, but also I wasn't gonna like leave him sitting alone on the curb while we waited. Like I feel like that's bare minimum. Like that's not like even like good Samaritan. That's just like I just like semi-witnessed a crash. I wasn't gonna leave. But just crazy things. So I obviously did not go to my meeting. I stayed there. And then when I did go home from there, I had what I imagine was just like adrenaline come down. Because obviously, like, thank goodness everyone was fine. But like my body was preparing in that moment whenever I didn't know like what all was happening. My body was preparing for the worst, because you don't know what's happening. And so when I finally got home, I feel like my body could like start to let some of the adrenaline go. And it was like the first time in a while, which thankfully is the first time in a while, it doesn't happen often, but like first time in a while that my body felt like out of my control to an extent. I feel like this has happened before, like if you've ever had like a panic attack or even just like crying from depressive episodes, like that kind of thing where it kind of feels like your body's working without your brain. The adrenaline come down kind of felt like that too, where I was like my hands were shaking so bad and I like started crying. And it wasn't like I was like sad, but I was like processing a lot and just going from having so much adrenaline in that moment to like being back in a calm, safe environment. Like the come down was hard. So I took like a warm bath to try to just like calm my body. And I honestly just like cried for a long time. Cause I mean, even with everyone's physical body being okay, like I feel bad for the people involved. And again, crazy thing to witness, especially like how scary it is in that moment before you know everything that's going on and your brain's like processing in that slow way of like, I know what I just saw, and you're obviously like preparing for the worst. Something that I keep like reflecting on too, whenever we were sitting on the curb waiting for like the police to arrive and stuff, which again, my friend stayed alert the whole time. Like he really, he had a couple scratches. I'm sure he's gonna be bruised, but given the circumstances, like he didn't hit his head, like nothing. So many cars like slowed down and was like, do you guys need anything? And like, or like thumbs up, question mark. Like so many people were checking because they could see the car and they could see us, like of, I don't know, it was just the amount of people being like, can we help? Do you need something? Warmed my heart a little bit. Just like seeing people come together and like, it's a wild experience that I hope to never experience again. But this morning we did go work out, and so I did a leg day, and I think that's helpful because my body still kind of feels in recovery, and I again just think it's from like the adrenaline and the bit of shock. How can I make this about me? I wasn't even in a car, but like I was right there. But just like the adrenaline and shock, like I can still feel it. So I feel a lot better, but just gonna obviously, as always, be kind to myself today. Today at work, it is a spirit day, so I have to wear a shirt that is going to match everybody else. And it's the start of March Madness, which is kind of exciting. And I have a folder meeting today, which is my one-on-one with my new supervisor. I think it's our first one-on-one that's just us with my new one. And I know of one family meeting that I have today. And then I have 2 rounds today because it's Thursday, and Thursday is 2-round day. And I can't decide if I want to tell you, like, so tomorrow I'm excited. I guess I am telling you. Tomorrow I'm excited because I'm doing intern interviews because I've decided to take a student next school year. So we have our first round of interviews tomorrow, and then we have another round with new people. I guess it's not a round, it's just another day that has interviews 2 weeks from tomorrow. And I am pumped about that. But I'm gonna head to work. I'm gonna hope for such a less eventful day today. That's what I'm really gonna hope for. Zach has to make a quick run into work. It is Saturday, so I have officially made it through the work week. And while the actual work itself was not the trenches that I thought it would be, and that I feel like I was prepping you for it to be, like, patient care was actually pretty slow this week, which was good because of all of the other meetings and everything I had. I had intern interviews all afternoon yesterday, which was really, like, I was so looking forward to them. Unfortunately, I do fear that I'm getting sick, and yesterday I felt like awful. Today I just feel weird. Like, it's the kind of thing where I keep getting like hot flashes, and like I didn't sleep well, like my head hurt so bad last night. So hopefully, and I always say this, sometimes it's true, I hope I'm just like fighting it off and I'm not like actually on the decline getting sick, because I do feel a lot better today than I did yesterday. But I was so bummed yesterday that like the interviews, which I had been so looking forward to, I just like wasn't feeling well during. So I just like wasn't feeling chatty. Like, it was still a fine time, but I just like wasn't feeling chatty. I just like I wasn't like feeling like myself. And it was like with people that I don't get to see all that often, like in the interview group, and then also like just doing the interviews themselves. Like, I just felt bad that I wasn't like feeling 100. But Zach and I have both been talking, and like on my Aura ring, I have had more recoveries that are like 55 score and less in the past 5 days than I have for like the past 6 months total that I've had my ring, which makes sense, like coming back from the week we are coming on. But like, I would have thought that I'd be better by now, and we're not quite there yet. So I mean, like, I'm still living my life. Whenever I woke up this morning, I edited our Malaga vlog, and that's gonna be up tomorrow. I have it all ready to go. We went and did glutes at the gym, and like I think I pushed hard. Like, I felt really weird just with like temperature regulation and like my head and everything, but I pushed well for what I can do. And then later today I have a facial, so I'm looking forward to that. And so like, it's gonna be a good day, and it ended up being a good week. It just is like, it feels off, you know? I just realized I always say Aura ring, and I have an Ultra Human ring. I've only ever had an Ultra Human ring. I chose to have an Ultra Human ring over an Aura ring. Every time I talk about it though, I say Aura ring. Ultra Human ring. I slept so good during my facial. It was wonderful. We did a peel and microneedling, and the whole time my hair is pushed back in a headband, and so the bangs struggle afterwards. But I came home to 2 PR packages that were total surprises. I didn't know were coming, and that's a really fun feeling. I feel like loved. Products and things that I used to get were mostly from short form content, so whenever I gave up short form content, I just like gave that up along with it for the most part. And I think these must be lists that I just like have stayed on. So I wanted to open them with you since I am quite excited to see what's inside. This one says it's from Garnier Fructis. You know them? It says, when you own your shine, life follows. Experience up to 100 hours of frizz-free sleep. Diamond-like shine, creating a finish that elevates not just your hair, but your presence. Shine that leads, confidence that follows. This is a ring pop. That's funny. And then this is the product, and it's a Shine Coat Smoothing Spray. So I definitely get frizzy hair, and so I'm excited to try that and see if it helps. I feel like often my frizz is from the back of my head, and sometimes I fall into the camp of the back of my head is none of my business. And then sometimes I get more motivated to actually look like a put together adult. I'd love to just be like a little bombshell walking around. Maybe every day I'll get a little bit closer. Because of its return label, I know that it is from L'Oreal. Huh? Pardon? Oh, it must be that L'Oreal owns Prada. Do they? Am I making up that return? No, I'm not making up that return label. Introducing Prada Beauty's first blush, Prada Touch. Inspired by Prada's iconic triangle, reimagined for beauty. Blends like cream, lasts like a powder for all day wear, no setting required. Exclusive early access on March 22nd in the Sephora app. I'm trying to figure out like what all of this is. Apparently things stack together, like they make it so things can stack. I guess if you were to get multiple shades. Yeah, so it's like this would clip into the bottom of another one, so you could just have like a stack of, it looks like blushes, lip colors, but this is the shade Dahlia, and that's it on the inside. Well, awesome. I never used to wear blush, and since I started, it's probably like going on a year since I started, I feel naked without it a little bit now. I used to think that it was just like an extra step that didn't really do anything, and truly now if I like go a day and I don't put it on, I'll see myself in the mirror in the middle of the day. I'm like, huh, you look kind of sickly. Where are your cheeks? Where's the rosiness? Well, both of those are awesome. Thanks for watching videos so that brands like this send random things. I really am quite excited to try. My next steps of the day, I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna eat some Halo Top that I've really been looking forward to. And I think I'm gonna read my book some. Crazy Saturday, I know, but as you are so well aware, was not home last weekend and I will not be home next weekend. So since this is a home weekend, I wanna make the most of couch rotting while I can.